Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I am going to just talk a little bit about my experience, and then I know at the end we will have some questions and answers. So as she mentioned, I'm the founder and principal of Perfection Events. We're an event management and production firm based in Philadelphia. We do business around the world, events as small as 10 people, as large as a few 100,000 people. So we're experienced, but yet the DNC was certainly still an experience. So we designed and managed the delegates welcome reception for the 2016 DNC in Philadelphia, a total of 6,000 attendees across 2 different venues, and that was a feat within itself. So it just ended up that it ended up at 2 different venues, mostly because of the thought process of the folks in the decision-making process. We went from 1 venue to outside to 3 venues to 2 venues to stay at 2 venues. So the way that I got involved, I kind of have some bullet points to share with you all about how I got involved and the experience. First off, the way I got involved was actually through a partnership. I got together with another person that I've worked with over the years that also has a production company, and when we knew the DNC was coming to town, I was pretty much like, it's going to be stiff competition, and I was like, hey, Kate, here's the deal. There are going to be some folks that want to hire me because I'm me, and there are going to be some folks who want to hire you because you're you. Let's get together and not give them a choice. Let's put the dream team together. So we did. We built marketing collateral. We brought our teams together, and we had done business before already on different projects, so it wasn't new. We'd been working together on various projects for almost a decade before. So it wasn't new to us, and I just thought it was a great idea to go to market that way. So the summer before was really when we started to have these conversations, that we created the marketing collateral. We went out to all of our hospitality partners, the CVB, and the folks that we knew were likely going to get involved and would have some decision-making. We kind of sent them this one-sheeter that said, hey, Perfection Events and Stockton and Partners is one team for the DNC, so think of us when you're ready to make some decisions. And then in the fall, around the fall, I believe December-esque was when the RFQ actually came out with the opportunities for event producers to potentially bid. And the way they did it in Philadelphia is they put together an RFQ that had 3 different opportunities, but you just were submitting your qualifications, and they would kind of decide which teams they chose they wanted to move forward in the process. So the delegates welcome, the volunteers party, and there was a media party. So there were 3. And the delegates welcome was the largest, highest profile event. That said, it took a little bit of time before we got the word back. I feel like it was around March when we got the word that we were the preferred team, and we had the conversation around it. Now, one thing that was really interesting was that in Philadelphia, they did want partnerships. They were really big on that. In fact, they did a whole media series around partnerships, but we were the only team that was proactive about it. We were the only ones that were proactive about it. We were the only team that partnered in Philadelphia that came into it as partners. Everyone else got partnered together. So that's kind of my first piece of advice, is if you can do the work of finding partners and vendors that you can work with so that you're ensuring that you're diverse and all of those things, do that work for them. They'll really appreciate that. So like I said, we managed the delegates welcome, which included managing all of the vendors, managing and designing the party, all of that. The operating expense, which is, it's an open book. I'll talk about that in a moment. The operating expense was probably about $2.5 million. We managed all of those payments in addition to our fee. So the reason I got involved is it was the biggest thing happening in Philadelphia, and I wanted it on our resume. Some of the lessons that I learned through this is, number one, that when it's political, there's going to be a lot of opinions, and that may hold up the decision-making process. We did not actually get into the true planning of this event until about 21 days before the event. So while we submitted an RFQ, our qualifications, while we had a lot of discussions, a lot of meetings, we weren't actually able to get to work till less than a month from the event, which that within itself, getting around to doing was crazy. The reason is that there were so many layers of decision making, and because it kept shifting, it would be like, well, the host committee wants this, but the actual DNC wants this, but the host or the chair wants this, but the mayor said that. And every time we would think that we were to a decision, that decision would often get challenged or tabled for a moment. I actually remember at one point we had a huge, we thought we had the venue. We thought we had the location. It was going to be out on a major thoroughfare in Philadelphia. It was going to be indoor, outdoor, all of this. 50 people around the table, the city, the state, all these people. And someone raises their hand and they said, before we begin this meeting, I just want to let everyone know that we just received a demonstration permit on Broad Street, and so basically it just shut everything down. We went from we're getting ready to plan this to it was not happening at this location, and we're waiting now for another 30 days before we got anywhere to the location. So I just think that that's a really important point to remember, to keep yourself from being frustrated in that. One of the other lessons I learned is that the DNC host committee is an entity that is created and dissolved within a finite period of time to do this. So consider all of your costs. Do not commit yourself to things that you think that you're going to go back and fight over later, right? Make sure that you can do it right now. You have the funding to do it right now. It makes sense right now. We've all signed on the dotted line. We're partners on this, and we've decided how we're going to go with it, because at the end of the day, this is one thing I thought about. Someone asked me, did you float money for it? Did you cover operating expenses and get reimbursed? And I said, absolutely not. I got every dollar that I was going to spend on behalf of the DNC and the host committee in advance of me spending it, because I was not running after anyone for my money when that organization was no longer an entity. Not saying that people don't have the best intentions. They do, but things happen. So let's be smart business owners. If there was anything that I would do differently, I would have some contingencies probably in my agreement around timelines. Because I had to produce this event in 3 weeks, that meant that was all I could do. And that meant that really squeezed my staff and my team. We had to drop everything. And if I had an understanding of how that could have affected me, I would have planned differently for how it could have affected my business, because you have to exist before the DNC and you have to exist after the DNC. It's a great opportunity. It's going to look amazing on your resume, but it's going to feed you that year, and that's it. So from that, and then a few things that I wish that someone had told me. It will take over your life, but it's totally worth it. So warn your clients and manage your expectations. The other one is that the book is open. It's going to be open. So if there are any scandals, anything that anyone doesn't agree with, you could potentially be named. I'm just saying be aware of that, because at the end of the day, an article came out that said, Perfection Events, $2.7 million. So now everyone thinks that I got paid a fee of $2.7 million to produce this event. This is not true. I managed the operating cost of that event. My fee was much, much, much smaller than that. But I had to deal with the questions around that, and had I known that, I maybe would have been prepared. Just be thoughtful about the best use of your time. And like I said earlier, do not commit yourself, your dollars and your business, or put anything on the line. Just be a smart business person. You're a smart business person all of the rest of the time. Be just as smart here. It's a great opportunity, but don't change how you operate because it's the DNC. Like I said, you have to live before, you have to live after. So those are my comments, and I hope they help.
Thank you, Mazda.